I'm in your bed every morning. How does that feel? Number one would be stop giving a fuck what people think about you. That's what's slowing you down. Your feelings, your doubt, your self-control, your lack of, wanting to take action on things.
What's it like going down memory lane for you with people that you have? Well, have you ever interviewed someone that you maybe previously worked with, or that you had lots of time with? I don't know how to. I don't know how to.
I don't think that we have. Yes,
work with people from.
Yeah, I feel like I've been running this same road for such a long time that that has not come up. However, yesterday we did spend some time talking to Nick Rocha from Neptune Shield, and we were talking about our military days. So that was an interesting time, just talking war stories like that. All stuff that I typically don't talk a whole lot about.
Yeah.
But when I do, it just unlocks some stuff that
Did you have nightmares last night?
deep.
Did you sleep well? Did you have nightmares?
No, I did not have any nightmares. I did sleep well.
I just know that sometimes, and today's guest is going to produce this for me tonight now. So thank you.
Well, do you anticipate some crazy dreams?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, because what's going to happen is I'm going to forget about it between now and then I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to wake up to a nightmare of something from this place that I worked at for 3 years, which was an important time in my life, but a time that, we don't really talk about, but we're going to today, and we're delighted to have Kristen Crowley on today.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm already inducing nightmares. I appreciate it.
Well, so the reason I say this is I don't really think about those days because it was so long ago. I worked there from, I think, September 2007 to September of 2010. So that's been 16, 17 years since. Yeah. But Tim and I had done this interview with each other, which sounds weird, where we talked about kind of the genesis of Hatch, the genesis of Launchpad, and some of the things that he was doing, we were doing. This is basically 2012 to 2016. And there were great times then too, and some bad times then too, right? And so it just brought back some of the bad memories. And then, I forgot about it. And then I had nightmares that night, and I woke up and I'm like, ugh. So I think that's what today's going to produce. So I'm excited to see it.
Trauma. We're just presenting trauma. Great.
Yeah. Would you ever consider yourself a journalist?
Mine is weird. I don't think my story mine's not typical for news. And I mean, you were there, so you kind of saw it in the beginning. I came into TV news as a bartender. So it was one of my bar customers who actually, said, you'd probably be good at this. You can talk a lot. You should try it. And I said, well, you can go fuck yourself. I don't want to be on TV. I have a fear of public speaking, and I didn't want to do it. They kind of forced me into it. And I always loved media and marketing, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was working at the restaurants, and then I came into the station, and I really kind of had to learn it all in 5 days. They didn't give me an opportunity to do it. So what people learned in 4 years of journalism school, I had 4 days to learn. And then they threw me on air live, and I had no choice but to sink or swim. So I had no formal training. I'd never read a prompter. I had never been in a newsroom. I had never been in a studio. And they were just like, hey, you'll work. And somehow I got that job. And I mean, thank God I did. I loved it for when I did it, but it came with its own set of,
Wow.
Was there an open audition or something? How did you even get that up?
Yeah,
that was weird too. That was the only time they had ever done this. It was for the morning traffic anchor and reporter position. And they had 44 people show up at Town Center, and they had us all go in and do this mock, newscast delivery of a report. And I practiced with a friend of mine and a dear friend who actually was at a station we acquired. He helped me a lot. He had me learn some things to overcome my fears of being on camera and then speaking on camera. And I went through, and because I think I was a bartender and I have a lot of life experience with my careers prior to the restaurant industry, I just know how to BS my way through things. So when they tried to mess us up on purpose, it didn't mess me up. So they were like, you'll be fine live. So that's how I got the job.
Wow. What types of things would they bring up to try to mess you up? Just breaking news kind of stuff, or like?
Yeah, I think because it was all these people who were kind of already in radio or had like any kind of broadcasting background. They were all coming in for this job. And I remember, because all you need to do in life is pay attention. If you pay attention, you'll actually figure some things out before other people. But they closed the door. We had a studio at Town Center at the time, and it was on the corner. I don't know if you remember that, Zach, that glass studio. And it was
it's a floral shop now, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had Kurt at the anchor desk, and I kept hearing him at a certain time when these people were doing their thing, go loud, like get loud, start talking, delivering a story. And I figured out before I got in the door that they're trying to mess these people up. And no one was picking up on this. And so I was kind of semi-prepared for it. So when he started, I was like, I just kind of rolled right into, hey, it's a busy day in here. Like we got a lot going on, but we're going to continue going. And I just kind of kept going. And
wow,
that's how I got
it.
it.
You had no idea you had to figure that out on your own. You had no tip be going into this that, hey, expect.
They don't help you in that industry.
Wow.
Oh, I can't hear Zach now.
Zach.
Yep. He's gone.
Okay. So
there you are.
What not to do in your 1 versus 44 shoot at the the Virginia Beach Town Center. Anyway, so in your ear, you're hearing Kurt. Are you also hearing a producer? Like what's okay? So
no, it was actually, you just walked in. They had a fake setup behind you with the whole panel.
They had like a fake studio. Well, they had a real studio in there.
A real desk, and then they had this desk behind me, or this just kind of like a pop-up, and you had stood in front of the pop-up, and they said go, and you went, and you had 2 minutes, and they're like, deliver your report. And I'm like, okay, I got this. And then Kurt was actually at the anchor desk. So it looked like he was really going live because we had the cameras, the lights, everything was over there. So they were really trying to throw people off. And I don't know who designed that idea at that time, but it was brilliant because it really knocked a lot of people off, where they brought it down to about 5 of us. And then they went to this online voting thing, and then they just decided to hire me. So, and I was allowed to still bartend at the time. So the first 5 years I was at the station, I was still bartending on the weekends. I was the only person allowed.
How many times would you just finish your shift bartending and then just roll right into the studio?
It was really hard because I had to, my schedule with the when you're that early in the mornings, most people that know the early part of the morning show know that you're up, you got to get up at 3 a.m. So sometimes I wouldn't finish till 10, 11 o'clock at night, go home, sleep for 2-3 hours. But at that time I was only working till 9:30 in the morning. So I'd go back home, take a nap, then go to the gym, get ready for work at the restaurant again. And yeah, so it was a brutal schedule for a long time.
That is rough. Is there still a copy of your audition tape? Is that run?
I don't know if they recorded it. I would love to see that because it was so horrible. I mean, it was my whole first month on air was horrible. If I could see those videos, which I don't know if they've dubbed the masters to anything other than what they were at that time, I would die. It would be so bad. It was so bad.
So they had this catalog system, Tim, that was quite interesting. And so if you picture a library, okay, but instead of a library, it was at the old time, like, I don't even know what these things were, but like very large cassette tapes that had videos. And they kept these on the second floor in places like that. And so if you recorded a story, they wouldn't have recorded that individually. They would have recorded, I believe, the full newscasts, and they would have kept that. So whatever aired is what they kept. And they kept it in some like nice catalog thing. And then as I was leaving in 2010, they started doing digital. So everything went digital. And they had this thing called Tons, was it TONS? And I don't know what it is now. But like even that, like there was a lot of discrepancy and craziness. It was like the Wild West of like, oh, I guess we should go over here and then not. But like if they recorded it, I would guess it's in one of those cassettes somewhere. Have Jose Cruz look for it, and I'm sure he could find it. Someone, if it's there, it's in that building.
Yeah, 2000 September, like October 2007. That's what it
So
was.
you started like right when I started too. Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
Someone who has at that time just been a good speaker and has no public speaking in their repertoire, if you will, but wants to get better at that, wants to improve their on-air presence, their podcasting skills, their ability to get on stage and feel more comfortable to tell better stories, things like that. What are some kind of words of wisdom that you would do looking back at that 20 years later to say, okay, like, had I done this, might be better? Like, what would you say to that person if they asked you that?
Number one would be stop giving a fuck what people think about you. I didn't get good in that job until I stopped caring so much of what people thought or how I sounded or what I looked like or how I was delivering things. So when I really stopped giving a fuck is when I got good at my job.
How long did that take?
Probably about 5 years, to be honest, for me to get over the personal attacks and taking everything personally. And because you're subjected to some cruel things when you're on air. Cruel things they say about you, the way people treat you, you're not really human to them. So they say whatever they want and it's ridiculous. And as being a slightly combative person, I had a lot of trouble not saying things back because you're not allowed to because you're under contract. So you can't say anything. So that was hard, but that's my hard rule to everybody now that are so concerned about doing video online, even if it's for an Instagram reel, they're so concerned about it. I'm like, nobody cares. Like nobody cares. They're watching this for a couple of minutes and then they don't care. So stop overthinking it. So that's my number one. Number two was really the way I started. I got a good tip from one of my coworkers was to just read everything out loud. No matter what you looked at, if it was a street sign, if it was a book, read it. So the more you read and say things out loud, the better you get. And then just doing it over and over again. So the only way we get over any fear really, is just doing it over and over and over until it's less of a fear. So that's how I had to handle it because I was petrified of public speaking and I still don't like it today. Like I still get nervous, I get anxiety, I shake. It's something that I don't think you ever get over. You just get better at dealing with it. So it's, what is that? I'm trying to remember the term for in psychology where you're getting desensitized, exposure. Yeah. So it's like exposure therapy. That's what you try and do. You'll get better the more you do it. You just have to do it.
That's interesting. So a lot of people want to get better at networking, but they don't know, like they're afraid to go up to someone and say hello. And so the way I tell them is like everywhere you go, kind of like your street sign, instead of just reading it out, say hello to every single person you walk by in the grocery store, in the Wally World, on a walk. Here's the thing. 90% of those people aren't going to say a damn thing back. So you're already used to them treating you like a donkey. And so it's ridiculous. Okay. So social media is not that big in those first few years of you being in there. It was kind of coming up, but nothing crazy. People now online, like, oh, I don't like what that girl is wearing. I don't like what that guy says. Like it's obnoxious. And yeah. I remember when I had my TV show, I don't even know if you know this, Kristen. So like on Channel 13, I had a business show for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I got those comments and it's hilarious because I'm like, you do realize that like I got to this position because I wore jeans and a t-shirt everywhere. And so now I remember we did this focus group and actually I was in the focus group and this lady goes, the show was great, but this guy looks like he's just a lawnmower, like a guy who mows lawns. And I'm like, oh my Lord. My wife was actually in the room. I think she was like really devastated. I'm just like, yo, like, I don't care. Like but that's hard. It's hard for people. Like people say really mean things.
Oh, the things I got.
All social.
Well,
like it's really, really, really mean.
Aren't news people, aren't they evaluated based on like their social clout in terms of the following that they have? Is that's taken into consideration or is it not? Or it once was?
Yeah, it was. They had a program before I left that was there that was actually, it would track everyone in each individual market daily on their performance scores overall, and that would be sent the next morning. So they had about 100 of us in this market on this list, and it came out every morning. And the next morning you got to see how you performed. And, I was always in the top 3 or 4 because I'm a slightly competitive person, but it also ruined me in that career. Sense that I was like always online, always worried about it. Like it's like there's more damage than good by pinning people against each other like that. Because it is cutting, back to Zach, what you really said, it cuts down journalistic integrity. And that's the part, even though I wasn't a journalist, so to speak, I became one. And I have very high integrity of telling the right story and getting all the facts. And now it's just sensationalized. And so I am kind of glad I got out when I did, because I don't know if I would be able to do it now.
And with that, you're almost attracted then to read the comments, and those are so toxic. I mean, it's just got to totally mess with your mind as you're going through this exercise.
It's you have to have a thick skin, and thankfully I do, but we're still human, and it hurts. And there were days I cried. There were days that I threw up because I was so sick with what people said to me. I don't think people realize it, and they really truly don't, because you really are treated, I don't want to say like a piece of meat, but in essence, you're a show pony. Yeah. So yeah, you kind of are. You go to the grocery store and people just come up and grab you. Like I have people grab me all the time, and I'm like, I don't know, like, stop touching me. Why?
Is it like grandma grabbing your like cheek though, or is it like it seems
like people coming up and just like, they literally will just be like, oh my God. And they just grab you and hug you, or they get next to you and take a photo, but they don't ask permission. They just grab you and they're like, oh, hey, like here. And they just pull you in, or the guys have their hands like down lower. And I'm like, dude, you about to get jacked up in this grocery store. Cause I don't really give a shit right now. And I work for myself now, so I can throat punch you in the middle of this store. So stop touching me.
And that's the other weird thing about social. When you have some sort of presence in the community, these people feel like they know you, and yet this is the first time you've ever even seen these people.
Well, you're in their bed. Like most people, in the morning you're watching TV, and I'm like, and I always joke that and again, I am a smartass. So luckily my careers prior with the news or, with the bar and stuff made me more of a smartass to deal with those comments. Cause I'd be like, yeah, I'm in your bed every morning. How does that feel? Like I do stupid things to make people laugh. And it was, but I mean, I'd have wives like texting me that you're my husband's free card. And like, if you ever, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I don't want this. I don't want to know any of your stories. I really don't. Wow. A lot of racism. I don't like, and then comments like that. And then, people that say you look like a Las Vegas hooker, you're disrespect to women. The things I got, like, I can't even say them all out loud because they're so horrible.
People still say these things.
Online.
On face and online. Like I'll see them sometimes and it's like, wow. Like,
I said, if you say it in person to someone's face, don't say it. Because I really
they won't do that.
They won't. And I've dealt with it a lot. And I actually did invite someone to the station once to meet me in the back alley because it got so out of hand. And I told him, I said, I hear the address, show up.
Did they show up?
Nope. I wish they would have done.
So you're in business now for yourself, several years now. But what do you think being in TV? What do you think being in the bar business? What do you think that your prior careers did to prepare you to be a business leader, to be a business owner?
One of my things I hate when people say I'm just a bartender. I'm just a personal trainer. I'm just a whatever. I treated every one of my jobs like a career. So, I mean, I was in visual merchandising and store design in the beginning. So I used to build stores for Lord & Taylor. And I did that. I was, I worked in hardware stores. I learned how to do plumbing, all sorts of random stuff. I worked in retail for fashion. I worked in the restaurants. The restaurant in general taught me people skills and how to read people psychologically, because you are sitting there hearing people's problems all night. My visual merchandising degree helped me with design and creativity. the news, the news job, which was 12 years of that and 18 years of live television total. And I ended up learning so much from that on just resources, crafting stories, how to build, literally layout, storytelling, and visuals, and all those things. And all of that had a purpose to bring me to the fact when I left the station, I made a decision to leave. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I met my business partner literally on Instagram, slid into her DMs. We were in fitness together, and we were both in the same fitness magazine. And we connected and we said, how can we do this better with marketing and branding? And literally all of my backgrounds just like collided and said, here you go, you're ready for this. So I learned something from each of those that like literally helps me. And also having a background in construction and real estate, like I can help most of our clients because I understand what they're going through. So life experience is life experience. And I cannot say that any of mine was bad. It all turned out to be what I do now, which is amazing.
Who's their female business partner? Jill
Bunny. So she
lives here?
No, she's based in Toronto. So she's in Canada. But so her and I Reframe has been our business for 6 years now. So we've been together for 6 years.
Yeah. Tim?
Yeah. What type of clients do you typically, do you serve?
I would love to narrow that down for you, but, we started in the fitness and wellness space. So we still do work with a few functional medicine doctors that we take care of, but brick and mortar construction companies, we have, the restaurants, the market, skydiving. It's so diverse at this point that it's a very boutique of who we work with, and everybody has a different need. So we kind of structure ourselves that way. But I think it's kind of proprietary. Like if you know what you're doing, you can help a lot of people, but I am very fortunate that I've been in those industries. So I understand their voice online. And we have like Navy SEALs, we have, that we manage their accounts. So I'm in the spec ops community a lot. I don't know. I think it keeps it interesting, and the funniest part of all of that is we actually only market to women online. 99% of our marketing is to women, and pretty much 80% of our client list are men.
So is that based on your network that you're getting this inbound traffic? Yeah, how did
all network
this happen?
All network, all connections, all referrals. We have never seeked out business. We've let clients go over the past couple of years because they're not a good fit. Luckily, we're able to do that. We don't operate in a very typical manner. So I think it's a little bit different than an agency. We're not an agency model. It's much more boutique-y. But our clients are amazing. And like I said, I told you I had some mottos. If they don't fit our mottos, then we are not the people to help you build your brand out.
Do tell.
All right. So we have two sayings that we always go through with our people. And one of them came out of a client that did end up, we were like, we can't help you anymore. We have fun and we get shit done, which is our main thing, because we have a great time with what we do. It's stressful. If you're not having a good time, it's just going to be more stressful. So any of our content shoots and events and retreats and stuff, we do have a very good time. And the other one is fuck your feelings. So that's kind of our company motto is fuck your feelings. Like, I don't care. We do care, but in a sense, that's what's slowing you down. Your feelings, your doubt, your self-control, your lack of, wanting to take action on things. It's holding you back from everything else. So fuck your feelings. We're moving forward. We're not going backwards. So if you can't really get behind either of those mottos, we really cannot help you in the long run. Maybe short term, but not in the long run.
We need to have like a counter for every F-bomb Friday that Kristen's dropping. There's this show, Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, I think it is. And he has like a drink thing. And I don't necessarily appreciate his content, but I appreciate and respect what he's been able to produce off of like the Real Housewives and all that kind of stuff. And so like they do this show and like there's a word of the day. And every time someone says the word, they don't know that they're saying it, they drink. Sometimes it's like 24. People are getting loaded. It's pretty wild. Okay, so you work with Redmond, right?
Mm-hmm. Jason
yep. Redmond? Okay. And so you, he's got a crazy story by the way. I
Yeah.
met him once or twice. And I remember when I first met him, he was just getting out. This is, gosh, sometime between, probably within the first year of me leaving the TV station, and was doing the software agency at the time. And he, I guess, decided that he wanted to start speaking and stuff like that. And met him through that. There was potentially a project to work on. We didn't end up doing it, but I followed him since. And now he's got that space in Chesapeake. Oh, anyway, so there is no niche though. But what you've realized is that not having the niche is kind of the business. And was that a hard decision for you to decide on? Like, it's like, how do you, because, you know, a lot of people say, you know, there's riches in the niches and things like that. Like, how do you decide that you have this opportunity to grow and expand, but you're going to do it with a ton of different verticals and businesses?
Yeah, it's weird.
You know, that was like my TV banter of like 97 seconds of not being able to spit out what I was trying to say. And then I finally spit it out, and it's like, here we are. And now we're at a minute 20 and someone's telling me to rap, and it's like, sorry, here we go. Anyway, why would you niche or not in business?
So I do think you need to, and needing to on the back end of everything. So we all know, you know, for SEO, your pay, you know, your website, your marketing, that type of thing, you do need to. I mean, it is better to stand out in a small pond in that sense in the beginning. So we always say that, you know, and you guys may have heard, like, becoming the mayor of your own city first. Like, you want to be the mayor of your own city. You want to be well known in one area before you branch out in the others, because if you don't have proof of concept and you're not able to manage that, and you don't have your systems, you're going to fail. So when we started, it was mostly the fitness and wellness, but we kind of, I mean, I've been with Jason for years, and he is I call him my special butterfly, because he is very special. And it is, you know, it just, like I said, when we built things out, we kind of built systems of how we manage them. And so it just kind of became proprietary to what we do overall. So I think you do have to niche down in the sense of you have to do it in the beginning, especially to just get that attention and that momentum, and build, you know, your keywords and your SEO and all the things that matter online on that side of the technical sense. But when you're good at something, you're good at something, and the word's going to get out there and people are going to come to you. So don't be afraid of narrowing it down that small, because that's all we've ever done. And that has not held us back from anything. So now we're restructuring it a little bit with the change in the times and, you know, again, more AI-based things. And so we're restructuring this year to move kind of more into another space that we're adding on. So yeah, I mean, I think the niching helped us in the beginning, and we're finally 6 years later revamping the website, which we haven't done in years. And, you know, but we haven't needed it. So some people do. And I think every case is so drastically different. You can't say one thing is going to work for everybody. So you just kind of have to do your pro forma and your case studies and know what works for your specific market, and go from there. But that's why I always say we cannot say the same blanket statement for every business or person out there.
I want to get back to the feelings with, so we host several pitch competitions throughout the year. Very, very early stage companies still validating ideas. And you can tell they are really, really nervous. So when you onboard a new client, or you're feeling out a new client, and you can tell they're hung up on their feelings, how much of a leeway do you give them before they have to forget their feelings? And how do you work with them to get over their feelings?
We're pretty lucky because Jill is actually a psychotherapist. So I have a business partner who went back and studied, you know, she was doing cognitive therapy, and went into her own practice. So we do try and find those hangups, and a lot of it is time and resources. So people get hung up on that. So we try and alleviate a lot of fears as fast as we can to get them over those humps. Like, what can we alleviate? That's something that's your biggest fear right now. Like, is it the cost? Is it website? Is it overwhelm? What are we doing? And then break it down into where their, you know, bite-sized journey is going to be, whatever journey that is we're designing. And I think we just try and help them get over it. I mean, some people never will. And those are, again, not ideal clients. So you may not, you have to judge how much stress you're willing to take on as the business person or owner too, because there are people who are not going to change. And we found fundamental characteristics in people that are good clients are, you know, they're returning things promptly. they're doing what you ask of them. They're not questioning. They're sticking to the one plan, literally, instead of coming up with 10 other ideas that day that they want you to implement that they've not researched at all, just because they're trying to stay busy. So the people who tend to be a little bit more communicative and focused tend to, for us, be better clients. And you move away from low-hanging fruit to higher hanging fruit as your business grows. So I think in the beginning, you do have to kind of take on some of that crap just because you're really trying to build an actual client base, unfortunately. And that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting that you say that, just in the sense of if you keep a client on too long, then they essentially become a liability to your brand and to your business, because if they are not succeeding, then that looks bad on you.
Good point. Yeah, it does. I think that, if they're not doing well, but also, did you communicate that? There's always a difference, and we'll parlay that back to Jason, victim mindset and victor mindset. Anyone who has a victim mindset rarely is going to change. It's very hard to get that person to change, because the amount of cognitive behavioral therapy that it takes to get them to get over those issues, it's not your job. So I think that you can pick those people out, but the hard workers are the hard workers. And it's kind of sad nowadays that you don't see it as much, which is disheartening, which is why a lot of our clients are actually older.
I told Tim this a few weeks ago, and maybe it was shocking to him, but we were talking about just the hiring individuals. And I said, there are skill sets that people in journalism in general, right? So use that word loosely, but people that have been in like production, deadline based TV news, radio, things like that. I said, those people are incredibly skilled at getting things done really, really fast and pretty close to perfect. Right. And those are the type of people that I would love to hire, because they're so good at that skill. They don't freak out and overanalyze something, which is interesting though, because I feel like that is a skill set that a very minimal amount of people have, yet people in that journalism bubble seem to be terrified to get out of that journalism world and go get a different career. Is that something that you still see today, that people think they have to be in that world? And then how did you start to get out of it and realize, okay, I do have this skill set. I can do this for myself. I don't have to stay up overnight, work the 3, 4, 5 a.m. routine unless I want to. What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's a great question, because it is, I think the reason a lot of people stay in it is ego, to be blatant, brutally honest, because it's cool to be known as the person. I'm talking about on camera personalities first. I think it's just that. And you also feel people who are that dedicated, like I was that dedicated, also feel personally responsible for the outcomes of that company. So they feel like if they left, that things would fall apart, or if they didn't do something, things would fall apart. And I learned this in the restaurant business. You're replaceable. You're replaceable tomorrow. They don't give a shit if you stay or go. You are not that important, even though you think you are. So I think a lot of them just get in that paralysis where they're like, I have to be here. They need me. They won't survive without me, or they don't want to go to a regular job, because there is a dopamine hit with television. You get a dopamine hit every day. That, Zach, when you're producing, you get dopamine hits every freaking 10, 15 minutes when there's breaking news or there's something that has to change, and it's addictive. And so when you're addicted to that, it's hard to go to the real world of sitting at a desk for 8 hours and not having that constant drive of do this now. This is breaking news. It's so exciting. And that adrenaline is, it's similar to people who are out doing, those type, more sports activities like that. I think, in my mind, I don't know if you ever felt that way when you were, doing any behind the scenes stuff, but I think people get addicted to the feeling and the ego push they get from it. And it's really hard to let that go.
There's a lot of wrestlers to your sports piece. So WWE people, they're all really older than a lot of traditional athletes. And they all say it's really hard to leave when you got 10, 15, 20, 100,000 people screaming your name or booing you, which is also a good thing. It's hard to leave that environment because that hit is so powerful that it's there. It's interesting that you say that about people on air. You know, I think that's probably what most people would think. But they have a hell of a skill set. And so I would just encourage anyone that's in that world to maybe say, hey, like, it's not that you're not the greatest at this thing or you're not tremendous at this skill, but there is another avenue for you somewhere else out there. And it could be an even bigger impact for something more than just staring at a TV screen. Well, I guess you're not staring at a screen, but you get my point.
Or reading off of a screen, whatever it is.
Have you ever read off a teleprompter, Tim?
No.
Oh,
you
never
should.
Really?
You should just make him do one just to do it and give him a story to read. Oh, that would be funny.
Dude. When the
for everyone watching.
Okay, so we'll do it. I'll go buy one, and I think there's an app that can do it. But like, I remember the first time,
get it on your phone. Just do it.
Yeah,
totally do it.
The first like few shoots for Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I had to do a teleprompter. The people who were the photographers and directors and things like that were there, I'm sure they were livid.
Oh, that must. No wonder you have nightmares. That's nightmare
fun.
Fuel.
Oh, this is great. You brought up, so the reoccurring dream I've had for the last 6 years, my reoccurring dream is that whenever I have a news dream, like it's usually once every couple weeks, I have a very vivid news dream. Still the same team, Miles there, Blades there, like it's still the same people, different sets, but the sets are always bigger and really big, but there's always a teleprompter fail. Every single dream that I have about
That's
TV
so funny.
is a teleprompter fail where I'm like, hey, there's nothing, I'm trying to make up stories and I'm repeating the words and then I'm getting to a commercial break. That happens to me still 6 years later, every freaking other week. It's crazy.
That would be that was the same deal with me. So I back Zach and my DJ days, my reoccurring dream would be the song just ended. I didn't have anything queued up to go next. And then it was just dead air. And I would just wake myself up in a panic. And I still have that to this day. It's just terrible.
We're going to drop the beat. That's what we're waiting on, you know? And
yeah.
Then, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, that was just a really crazy, it was a fun part of my life in terms of, because you could have you have the whole club in the palm of your hands and you can you can move everybody in the direction that you wanted them to move. But then, but there would be pressure on yourself. You're like, all right, I know I got X number of minutes left on this song, and and you would feel the pressure that you got to keep the crowd going in that certain direction. You want to find that perfect song for that. And I still have nightmares about that.
Were teleprompters still run by someone else, or are you doing them towards the end?
I never had a foot pedal. No, I never had that. I had someone running them who was usually asleep half the time. So,
so you control them now on your control them?
Now they have like a pedal under the desk with it's like a foot pedal. There's a hand one too, and you just rotate it at your own speed, so you control your own teleprompter.
How long did it take to learn the green screen? I would think that would be difficult.
There's a TV right there, like literally right there that you're watching, right?
So you have like, say the green screen's behind you here. There's a flat screen here and a flat screen here, and then you have the camera right in front of you. So you can see. So my cheat for the green screen, because I didn't really know, because it's opposite of what you're doing. So I would always take a minor lean. Like if I was going to point in the beginning, I would slightly lean so I could see where my body was going, and whatever arm was that way I would use. So that was my cheat to learn my directions on a green screen.
See, I don't know if I could ever master that. That would mess me up, having to think in opposites.
Mm-hmm. You learn it faster than you think. It's really not that, like, we have kids come in, when they would come in for those little weather tours or whatever, and they would be standing in front of it. They nailed it, and like they'd do it 2-3 times. They'd be like, and then they're like, oh, and they got it. So most people learn it pretty quickly once you start your brain will recalibrate. So yeah, you get used to it.
So what you're telling me is you failed on the game show. Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Oh, I would fail that in a heartbeat. I would not even be good on that show. I can tell you right now. My son is the smartest one in our family, and he's 12. So we're just he's the best speller. He's nope. Not me, not it.
Do you think these egotistical anchors and people that are on TV also are addicted to getting hugged by randoms in public?
Yes.
Oh. Really?
100%. Some of them, yes. Okay. Because I've seen some out this past week, and there's some I don't want to associate with. I don't. And I've had some be very rude to me. One not on air anymore. But yeah. And I was like, you are really you are egotistical, like AF. Like I have no desire to even remotely talk to you ever again in your existence. And just rude. I've seen him be rude to people, and I don't condone that because, again, dude, you on local TV. Nobody cares. You are not making you barely 6 figures. Like, who do you think you are that you think that you're going to be, this, you should get me something and I should get stuff for free. I'm like, go suck it. Like, you're a freaking local TV person. I was a bartender and I got on TV. Like, is it really that hard sometimes? No, it's opportunity and hard work. So if you can do that, good. But it never got to me that way. Like, I would never, ever treat someone like that. Maybe that's because I was in the industry and you're nicer to people. I don't know. Yeah. But
look, you as a bartender, me as a donkey, more so on me on this comment. Like, if I can get on TV, like, come on, like, you just got to raise your damn hand. You don't show up in a line of one of 44 people and understand that Kurt's just going to get a little wild up in there. Like, there's some skill.
Yeah. Just saying, like, I don't put it on a pedestal. Like, it's not a pedestal thing, and people treat you like it's weird, and it's weird. I've never understood it, but I'm also not a celebrity type person. Like, I've been around tons of like, they just don't. I don't get that way, so I guess I don't understand it. So for other people, it may be different.
Monday morning quarterbacking of people is ridiculous. It's like, it's not easy. Like, you go try to get up on that stage, go do this thing, whatever.
Oh no, it's not easy. Not saying that at all, but still not like it's like you should deserve to treat people like crap because you have that job, or I don't agree with that at all.
Do you get that when you went through journalism school, Zach? Like, did they groom you that you're something more than what you really are?
No, and here's the thing that, like, when I look back at all of these things, I feel like there's probably like a legit top 10 list of things that people should really prepare you for. And no one talks about it. I couldn't come up with that list right now because I've been so far removed. But I think if we were to like go record, 9 of your other colleagues over the years, Kristen, there would be one, like you're like at this point, the number one thing that I've heard you say is you can't worry about what other people think about you. I don't think that would come up, right? That's definitely not going to come up in journalism school, right? Like, you got to get over that, right? And like, one thing for me that I remember was always very powerful was rewatch your stuff to get better. So like, you reciting, it's like, okay, I can't get better if I'm not rewatching this thing. That might be like my, nugget of choice for someone else. But like, there's so many different things that aren't talked about that are so important. Like Danny Rubin, who you worked with too, Kristen, he now has a company called Rubin Education, and his whole thing is soft skills. Well, no one's teaching soft skills, and they're so incredibly difficult. Or they're not incredibly difficult for, I think, the three of us, but for some reason, no one else is learning them. And so he saw a hole in that world because he kept doing it over and over. He's like, well, these people aren't good at this, so I might as well like figure it out. So it's just, there's no cheat sheet, Tim. And it's so ridiculous because these are the things that you actually have to worry about. The story's the easy thing. When all this other stuff is like the emotional hard, how do you deal with seeing someone crying? How do you deal with someone who just died? How do you get this person to say yes on camera? Like, they ain't talking about that. How do you knock on someone's door that just got murdered? Like, that ain't a fun thing.
The emotional side is that's the kicker. Like, I mean, and I only broke down when I saw other people break down. And there's very few times I broke down.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
When I decided to finally get out, it was like, okay, I'm sick and tired of seeing people on the worst day of their life every single day.
Yeah. That part is hard, which is why I think in that industry, most industry, like, you know, if you're in sports or TV or, you know, some industries that are a little more intense, like, you know, medical, there's a lot of jokes that go on. Like, I mean, we always had a lot of just inside jokes and things that we would make each other laugh with, because it would get so deep and dark on most days that if you couldn't crack a joke or say something inappropriate to each other, which we were pretty damn good at, I don't know how I would have survived those days mentally, like going home and, you know, like almost like first responders, like you're seeing this stuff every day, all day long. And again, I mean, Timmy, I know we got all the details. We had to choose what we put out there. So we would see some stuff that we could not share. And that is graphic. And I understand now with like first responder trauma response stuff, what they go through. Those days some of those sucked. They really sucked.
Yeah, especially the distance. It's a big region that we live in, and the distance that the news crews would travel to find those horrible stories. Mm-hmm. There is no distance too far.
Or, you know, here we're all 1 degree of separation, so you're pretty connected to most of them. And because I had backgrounds outside of the station, I was connected to a lot more, I guess, communities. And being in the spec op, like the special forces community, I mean, I still remember, Zach, when we had the extortion 17, when the helicopter went down. And I still remember being at home getting those calls, and I wasn't at work that day. And I, you know, lost a lot of friends on that crash. And I still remember sitting on the edge of my bed, and I was just crying and crying and crying. And Mike called from the station, and they were like, hey, you know, we need you to confirm that this was Virginia Beach. We need you to confirm if it was you know, whatever. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, you know, my oath to this command, I can't do that. And I'm like, but you're calling me, and I'm bawling my eyes out. So I'm pretty sure you can put the pieces together. But they called me literally in the mix of me getting all these phone calls about our friends that were dead. So I've experienced it on both sides, and I understand why they have to do it. But still, in that moment, I was a human. I wasn't a reporter. And that was pretty painful. And I was like, I'm like, I can't give you information on classified stuff. Like, that's just not going to happen. So yeah, I was involved in that type of scenario multiple times because of my community affiliations, and that sucked.
And would they press you, or would they understand, like, hey, I can't cross that line?
They'll press you a little bit. I mean, you've seen it. Like, I mean, they kind of have to do follow-up questions, because you can't just say, go back to your boss and be like, I tried. Well, what did you say? I mean, they will, like, your news, like, they will grill you on what you said to someone who's, you know, family's just been murdered, or that, you know, lost I mean, it's painful. But I have been on both sides of it. So it's not fun either way. But I understand why they have to do it. But it was.
I don't understand that. Like, I feel like some people just aren't humans, and that's the thing that hurts. Like, it's like, put yourself in that situation. If this was you, would you want to react to that? And then well, it's not me right now. So, you know, and then it's like, it's disheartening. It's difficult to deal with. And like, I can't imagine being, you know, in your situation, you know, those many years ago. And I can think about, I remember there was a widow of someone whose husband died in like a car accident or something like that. And just hearing her emotion come through and something like that. And, you know, I didn't have to get some, you know, data out back to the newsroom for something like that, like you did with the helicopter. But it's just like, well, why didn't you ask these questions? They'd come back with, it's like, well, do you ever think that like maybe we're going through something too here? Like, us getting, you know, emotional as the ones who have to ask these questions. And it's I think a lot of times the people back in a studio or in a station have never been in that situation. They're just waiting to get the free pizza on a snow day. And it's like, hey, like, could you actually do this? And I think the answer in a lot of cases, they probably get pissed off at me for saying this, is no. Like, they could not actually articulate themselves because they've never been in that situation. Same thing as the person who likes to write a bad comment on your Facebook post. That person wouldn't say it to your face. That person back somewhere else couldn't actually ask those questions. So it's I don't know. It's devastating to me. It's hard to. Yeah, I don't know how people handle it. It's just like an athlete at the end in a press conference that has to tell you how they feel about the game. I'm supposed to be like, I've been there before. It's like, well, I just put my heart onto this. I lost the Super Bowl. How do you think I feel? I feel like shit.
Yeah, I feel real shitty right now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is hard because it's like it almost numbs you to a sense.
Which is bad. That's not a good thing. You shouldn't be numb to that.
No, you shouldn't. It's not normal. And I think, again, we have more resources now than we did 20 some years ago. So I think we're understanding a lot more, and we have more resources online. And I think the mental health side of it, that's all come out. But a lot of people are just, like you said, though, people in that you're built for it a little bit more. I think that people are built for whatever kind of careers they're in. So, you're not going to be that I don't know. I mean, they're still emotional, mainly because a lot of them are young kids that just come out of college and they're like 22 and they've never seen a day of the real world, or they've been in newsrooms for, 8 years and they've never, because they can't afford to go out, don't go out because they're making no money and they don't see the real world. So when they finally see something tragic happen, I remember the day we were, when they had the shooting at in Virginia Beach at the courthouse, I'm like blanking out on it. We had a young reporter live and she just could not get it together. She was bawling, crying. And so I was bawling, crying because I felt more motherly towards her than anything else, that she was experiencing this pain and no one was there to support her. And she was left out there all day for 10 hours with no support, and it was hard to watch. But I mean, again, you do kind of know it going into it. Same with, people who sign up for war and, special forces, there's a good chance you can die. So, there's a good chance you're going to see some stuff that you don't want to see. So I think mentally we just have to prepare ourselves for it. But there is a mental tenacity that comes with that job that helps you later in life too, because I can put up with a lot now that I probably couldn't have put up with in my 20s. But I was grateful. I also started that job late. I was old for a news person. Like, I was old going into that career because I didn't start until I was 28. So, which is sad that that's considered old in that industry.
Tim, what do you think?
It's just tripping. Well, it's interesting to me, like hanging around you as much as we have in meeting. It's amazing to me how big the news community is that have left, but then talking to or hearing them talk and about like some of the scar tissue that is left behind. And then when you see the on-air side, it's so opposites in terms of what you see on the TV and then talking to them behind the scenes. Like, it's tough. And it's almost overproduced or oversensitized too much, because it's just, I don't know. I'm just trying to process all that right now, because it's interesting, Kristen, to hear your take on this as well. It's hard, but you're not allowed to necessarily say that on air. Whereas I think it would resonate more with people if it was more authentic, as opposed to what's the story angle that we can put on this. So that's my thoughts, Zach. There's no question there. You asked my thoughts. I'm answering the question.
It's like, these are my deep thoughts.
Yeah.
Deep thoughts with Tim.
It's just wild.
It is. It's a weird way to grow up, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, it's one of those weird situations. But I don't know. I think that the people I've held in that, in like when we've all ventured out on our own and we all have something going on now, it's a tenacious group that can get things done. So I think it's the benefit outweighs, that side of it. And I really, wasn't really ready to be subjected to all the things.
Yeah.
But I made it through it, and it made me a better person. And I loved being in part of the community, and I would never take that back for a second. I mean, it's still bartending is my favorite job. News is probably my second, in the sense of like just the rush of the fun and the like I said, the dopamine, the adrenaline, the serotonin. You get all the feels every day. So yeah, I do miss that part of it. So now I have to rely on, people like you guys and other people around to keep me entertained, because I'm like, all right, what are we going to do today? That's exciting, because I got to do something every day. I cannot stop.
I think one of the most important questions that I've been looking forward to ask you is, it's centered on the Orange Crush. Does Virginia Beach own the Orange Crush?
No.
Or, see, but okay.
Here's the story. I know the story. So we have a restaurant show with Burnt Hands Perspective, and we do restaurant stories here locally. And we had Mariah Standings with Waterman's on, and she is the one who brought it here. Her family, that restaurant, Waterman's, is the creator of the Orange Crush in Virginia Beach. The actual Orange Crush was in, I believe it was Maryland. It was someone else, and they took it from that restaurant. It's not exactly the same. So this one here is the original of this formulation of what it is known as today. But she goes through the whole story, and she has the guy's name who created it. And he was this like quirky character, and he, you know, it was called Crush something. I don't know. It was something crazy. And I'm not going to remember all the details right now. You guys can look at the episode if you want, because she told it, and she's way better at telling it because she was the person who did it. So technically, is it original to Virginia Beach? Yes. The recipe that we know today. Is the Orange Crush original to Virginia Beach? No.
Tim, I've told you for months.
I'll send you the link to the episode, Zach.
I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to know that my journalistic chops have come to the roots. The OG, disappointing.
And I never doubted that. But like Zach and I, we've been on this journey for almost 300 episodes to like, is there a food of the region that what can we brand the 757 after from a food and drink standpoint? And we just really want to find something that we can brand. And so you probably are the best guest that we've had to ask this question to. Is there something we can brand our region after in the food or drink industry?
So it's hard because we've adapted so many different regions in this area. So, and it's hard because like Maryland claimed the crab when the crab is here. Like the crab is actually Chesapeake, like it's us. Like we could have claimed that. Oysters here are where Lynn Haven oysters, all the oysters in this area, phenomenal. We don't really claim that very well. The Orange Crush, it is something here that's probably the most well-known because it's alcohol and it's fun. So we do claim that essentially. I'd say that's the one drink we can claim in the essence of the iteration it is today. But as far as local region and produce, we're so generalized and we're such a melting pot that through the years, we don't really have our own identity. And we have talked about this, Tony and I've talked about it on the show quite a bit. The reason we don't have Michelin stars and all of these awards coming here, James Beard and things like that, is because we really don't have an identity. But that's the fault of the city and nobody really creating one. So I think as city leaders, the damage they've done in certain cities has not helped, and they're not creating a culture or a true identity. So that's a whole nother conversation. But we've had that conversation. And I think that if we actually branded down on the seafood and, the crush, that type of thing, it could be something that we create as a food culture. But we have everything here. We're just, it's hard because everybody else has claimed it. So we can't claim it anymore, and it sucks.
Maybe we just have to stop caring what other people think and go into battle with other metro areas and say we do it better. I don't know.
That is actually a good idea. I like that idea.
Could you also hug your own food? Like if I saw food that I liked on the streets, could I go hug it? Like,
if you want to, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I don't think that came out as well as I wanted it to, but
no,
it's okay.
I know what you were trying to get at. Like you can touch it. Yeah. Randomly.
What I was trying to say is that, Kristen, appreciate you being on the show. If you guys see Kristen on the street, make sure to give her a big hug because she loves it. But, lost in translation, me thinking I'm funny, it didn't get there, This is why comedians get on stage to smaller crowds to try out their stuff, test it out first to realize that one wasn't performing very well. There's the fail of the day. Only one. We're good to go. Kristen, appreciate your time. This has been delightful. Tim, any last thoughts?
No, I just wish that we could do another hour just on bartender stories because I think that would be a really, really fun hour.
Well, let's end it with one bartender story that you can't,
or just even before that. Best knowing when you get a group of young military or college people come in and just based on the order, they are inexperienced, and I have to keep my eye on these folks because it's about to get out of hand real quick. I'm assuming the answer would probably be a Long Island iced tea, but you're the bartender with the experience, because it seems like every inexperienced person, like, I'm on a mission tonight. We're going Long Islands, and then things are going to get crazy.
Oh my gosh, there's so many stories. I don't know how I could. There's no way to get one story in. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Yes.
have you had a night with Long Island iced teas? I mean, Jesus.
Well, personally, I don't drink them, but if anyone ever comes to the bar and orders a strong island, you know that they are just an idiot. So a Long Island has 5 liquors in it already. So when you say you want it stronger, you're a moron and you're probably not going to tip me. So the first person who orders a strong island, you immediately make it weaker. 100%. We will short your drink if you order it that way. Tip. There's so many stories. I don't know. There's a lot of stories. Most of my stories could probably get other people in trouble, so I can't say a lot of them, including breaking and entering and possibly the sheriff's office. But I have, how about pickup lines? Best pickup line I've ever heard. How about that? Okay. Yep. All right. You ready for it? All right. It's story time. So I was at 456 Fish, and there was an older gentleman who was a regular. I mean, by older, I mean closer to late 70s, 80. So pretty harmless, but one of those older perverted type guys, really fun. His wife was always there. They were amazing. And he, one night, you know, when you're bartending, you're obviously wearing more revealing clothing. And he took my hands and he held them like ever so gently. And he looked in my eyes and he said, I have to tell you that the eyes are the key to a woman's soul. And without looking down at all, he finished it with, but you have a damn fine staircase to get there. And it's the one I laugh at because it was so genuine and delivered so perfectly that I could not say anything else. I was like, you know what? Bravo. That was great. So that was, there we go. One cheesy pickup line that was from an old man that made me laugh.
I feel like that only an old man could deliver such wisdom and sincerity and not get smacked.
The rest of them got tray to the face.
Yeah, and then you ordered a strong island. So what do we know? Well, Kristen, appreciate your time today. It's been absolutely delightful. Appreciate it, and continued success. And we are going to have a part 2 to hear more of
tales. That's my tell-all book, from behind the bar to behind the anchor desk, coming out.
Are you doing a book?
No. I should, I guess. I don't know. I'm not.
I think it would sell. Kristen, appreciate your time.